3 CAA championships, 5 NCAA postseason appearances, and another outstanding year off the playing field made 2009-10 another great year for VCU athletics. We sat down with Athletic Director Norwood Teague to talk about not only this past year, but what the future has in store for the black and gold.
Norwood, talk about this year and not only the on-field success, but the academic success and the success as a donor base.
Well, we've had a very, very good year. Our fundraising has been up probably in upwards of 30 to 40%, and we've had academic success this past semester. 51% of our student athletes had a 3.0 or better, which is pretty darn good. Sophia and her shop has done a great job in academic advising. On the field, on the court, a strong year with an array of conference championships. Tennis won both, men and women. Baseball finished strong with a great conference championship here in this past May. So been a very good year. Men's basketball really, I thought, had a great year, winning 27 games and winning the CBI in Coach Smart's first year. And I think that's going to be a representative year of how things are going to unfold for his program going forward.
You mentioned the 3 CAA titles, with Coach Costin having 2 and Coach Keys bringing 1. Those are kind of the veteran guys. Both have been here over 15 years. Other than that, it's a fairly young coaching base. What does having guys like that who have such a winning tradition mean for you to have them and then the younger coaches to be able to lean on them?
Well, I think for one thing, for the younger coaches, it shows it can be done, and it can be done here. And they really serve as examples and do a lot of mentoring with our younger coaches. We do have a younger coaching base over with our Olympic sports, and I'm really excited about 3 or 4 of them and the new group, as I call them. I think we're going to win some championships here very soon with those guys.
Talking about the younger base, what excites you the most about people like Kelly McQuaid with the field hockey program and John Riley with the track and field program, people who have come in the past 2 or 3 years, and Dave Gifford coming in with the soccer program? What excites you about having them in the future?
Well, I think they'll win. I think they'll do it the right way. I think they will. I know they manage their program very well. In other words, they manage their student athletes. They're in charge. They run discipline programs, and I think they give our kids great student athlete experiences. Those 3 in particular, with track, field hockey, and men's soccer, they'll win in the next 2 years. They'll win, I think, a handful of conference championships. Dave Gifford with men's soccer has done an unbelievable job coming in a mere 4 or 5 months on the recruiting side. But all 3 of those, that's one of their greatest strengths, is their recruiting. Kelly in field hockey is recruiting women that we never got in the door with in the past. And John Riley now managing both the men's side and the women's side before, but as a combined program, will be really neat. It'll be really neat going forward.
With the Olympic sports in the urban setting, it's always a difficult area with facilities. I know there's talk about the golf facility and also tennis facility and stuff like that. Can you talk about just ideas and stuff that have been thrown around for upgrades and facilities?
Well, we're looking at land right now for tennis in particular, and hopefully we'll hear something very soon about that. And if we do get that land, we could build an indoor and outdoor tennis facility. Baseball is always on the mind too. I don't know what the Squirrels are going to do and when they're going to do it, and will we go in with them as a double-A, with a double-A partner like that, or will we build our own? But we need to do something there and do it soon. The other facilities, Sports Backers is very sufficient. It's just what we need for soccer. So I'm always pleased that we have that and for a stadium there. The turf where Kelly plays, the field turf over on the other side of campus is good. Will we be there long term? I don't know, but it's a solid facility. One area that's already beginning to support our Olympic sports and every other sport is inheriting the east end of the Siegel Center. As rec sports moved out, we inherited probably, I don't even know what the square footage is over there, but having a dramatic weight room upgrade by being able to move over there. Our academic advising area has been expanded dramatically. We have an auxiliary gym. We're also going to build locker rooms for both tracks and both men's and women's soccer.
Whenever it comes to VCU, it always starts with VCU basketball. It's the flagship program. You mentioned about the excitement surrounding Shock and his program. What does it mean to you to have a guy like Coach Smart and his staff who are constantly working in the future of VCU basketball?
I can sleep better at night. It's true. You know, he's an amazing guy, Shaka, and his staff is one of the best, not the best staff I've ever been around. They're incredible recruiters, and I'm not talking about good recruiters. I'm not talking about very good recruiters. They are outstanding. The class that we signed that's coming in this fall will be one of the better classes we've ever had. The class for 11 could be is setting up to be just a knockout class. But more than that, Shaka is so bright, and he's also a guy who cares about his players, and it just is reflected in so many ways that he handles the program. We're in unbelievable hands, and he and we really work closely together on a number of things, and it's a pleasure to work with him every day. We move at a quick pace because we trust each other, and I'm thrilled about the future because we've got to be good in men's basketball, and to have him leading the program and being our front porch sport is so important.
With a conference that continues to get better and better basketball-wise, we've been at the top of the conference for many years now. What does it take from a marketing side and from a donor side to continue to give basketball and all our other programs the ability to compete at the top of their level?
We just got to continue to build our budget. You know, we're doing a lot in the next year facility-wise. Any huge projects? No. Significant projects? Yes. And, you know, the locker room we're building over for, as I mentioned earlier, in the East End. You know, building the golf facility, a practice facility out at First Tee. These things cost money. We got to raise it privately. These are not very little of that money is being used from the budget or the money that we get from the schools. So we have got to privately fundraise. We just hired David Benedict back in January. He was a gentleman who I knew from Arizona State. We worked together 10 years ago. He is running all of our fundraising, and he has really brought a skill set that is I'm thrilled about. I knew he was great, but him being here validates again. Having him leading that area of the department is so important, and you know, going forward, everything that we want to do is going to be done through that area, and getting people on board to give and to support what we're doing.
You talk about Dave. Talk about the Ram Athletics Fund. Dave's kind of taken over. We've reached the shooting for 1,000 goal.
Right.
You're shooting for 1,500 now. All sorts of donor functions going on. What is that? How important is that to the VCU athletics?
I mean, besides for, you know, graduating kids and winning championships, probably, you know, it's a tie for first with those two, and complying. I always say, you know, you want to comply to NCAA rules. It is our future. It is our future, and but we're in great shape because we have a incredible momentum right now surrounding VCU athletics. We have a great new, impressive, talked about brand in the city of Richmond. And you know, it goes back to what Dr. Trani started 20 years ago, and how the school has just evolved and grown, I mean, by leaps and bounds in the last 15 to 20 years. So athletics is benefiting from some of that. But, you know, going forward, fundraising is going to be the key. And Dr. Rao, our new president, thankfully, he is just such a fundraising president. He's a guy who preaches fundraising. He preaches that we've got to do the things that we need to do to really become a fundraising machine. So we're on the forefront with that, right with the university.